Okay, good evening and a big warm welcome to London's York Hall for tonight's Professional Boxing Live. The British Middleweight Championship. Neville Brown defends against Carlo Colarusso. Over to our MC, Mike Goodall.
Ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of National Promotions, good evening and welcome to an evening of the Championship of Professional Boxing live on Eurosport across Europe from the home of boxing in the heart of London's East End, York Hall at Bethnal Green. Your officials this evening are all appointed by the British Boxing Board of Control, and the first contest in the ring this evening is a super featherweight contest of 6 3-minute rounds between introducing in the blue corner wearing the black trunks from Wilston. Would you please welcome Alan Mckay. And his opponent, ladies and gentlemen, in the red corner wearing the gold trunks with the red waistband from Canning Town, Yifru Retta. At the official weigh-in today, Mckay scaled 9 stone 4 pounds, Retta 9 stone 4 3/4 pounds. Your officials for this contest, the timekeeper, Mr. Tom Rice, the referee, Mr. Mark Green.
So there we are, that's our first bout this evening. We've got Alan Mckay against Yifru Retta. 6-3s this one in a feather come super featherweight contest. And I'm very glad to say with me in the commentary position I've got Sid Nathan. And of course, to many of you who've been following boxing for years will know that Sid, one of Britain's most experienced referees, now still works as a judge for the WBC. Plenty to say from him a bit later on. But welcome, Sid.
Good evening. Nice to be here with Eurosport.
So round one then, Alan Mckay in the black trunks against the big hitting Yifru Retta from Addis Ababa in Ethiopia. Originally, now Mckay, former Southern Area champion. Got himself a crack at the British featherweight title against Billy Hardy. Not too long ago, Sid, you might remember that.
Yes, I
and
do.
lost in 8 rounds.
Yes.
In fact, it wasn't his first British Championship fight. He actually fought Sean Murphy in 9 cracking rounds. He lost to Murphy back in '93. Anyway,
in those days, Murphy was a really cracking good fighter.
Certainly was. Good fight. So Alan Mckay then, actually born in Watford, my hometown, living in Wilsden. Retta from the National Promotions stable, boxing out of Canning Town. Good shot there by Retta, the right hand. That's what he's famous for. 10 wins, only 2 losses on the Retta record. Mckay, nice snappy boxer, southpaw, had an absolutely tremendous battle with Gary Daru in the return contest to win the Southern Area Championship, having lost to the same man previously in 5 rounds. What a tremendous fight that was, and it was actually in this hall, one I will never forget. So, Sid, we've got a boxer here who's not renowned for heavy punch in Mckay against a man who doesn't punch too often, but when he does, they hurt.
Well, the boxer is a southpaw, and he's got a very educated right lead. And if you can do this for a while, I think he should do well if he can keep him off with that right lead.
Right, and of course, Sid, you're going to be here as well, also giving us a few pointers on exactly how to score a contest. The kind of things that you would possibly look for, and possibly the universal view as well.
As an international judge, yes, there are many things to look for. Apart from a boxer looking pretty, you must consider the opponent's awkward style, who could also be scoring just as many punches as the pretty-looking boxer.
Exactly. People, of course, forget that you'd also get points for defensive capabilities as well. Good shot there from Retta, the right again. Mckay just skipped away. Well, swapping hooks now with the leading hand. Retta there got through the left hook counter after Mckay caught him on the right. Well, not a great deal, I don't think, in round 1. So how would you score that?
Close. It was a very close round. Very difficult to assess. But of course, the referee in the ring has to do that.
Yes, and we might just see a right hand here from Retta on the replay. That's not a bad shot there by Retta. About mid-chest, I would suggest. So, well, you've got to make your mind up, haven't you, between the bigger punches from Retta or the slightly more, the quicker, more eye-catching ones from Mckay.
Well, it does seem to me that Retta has been the aggressor all through the round, and I think on the aggression alone, apart from the punches scored, which I'm sure he must have done more so.
Yes, I'm sure you're right, Sid. So the first round then to Yifru Retta, to say he's from the Ethiopian capital of Addis Ababa. Odd that he should end up here. So into round 2 then. And a common opponent, Kelton Mackenzie, outscored by Mckay over 10 rounds, beaten over 4 rounds by Retta in his last fight.
Of course, I do feel that first round was probably just a weighing up round. And I think more will certainly show from here on.
Yes, I agree with you, Sid. Looks like Retta's come out meaning business here. But then again, you've got that look on Alan Mckay's face. He wants to do well here. He's been brought in as the opponent, in inverted commas, and of course he'd love to upset the apple cart. Hit and move tactics then from Mckay, which is what we anticipated, really, trying to stay away to that big right hand of Retta's. Now Retta getting through some pretty smart punches, nothing damaging. Always very ready to punch back, and Mckay's on the offensive, and that's of course dangerous for Alan. What do you think, Sid?
I would have thought Mckay would have been better off to jab a move,
as the saying goes.
As you say, as the saying goes.
Big shot there by Retta, over on right hand, and that got Mckay in a bit of bother, and that one's even better. Mckay then says no, and that one put him smack on the chin. He's so game, Alan Mckay. It's a cracking fight, as I said. A bit of pressure here in round 2 by Retta.
It slowed down a little now, but that was a very exciting exchange.
Yeah, so we're inside the last 30 seconds of this second round, and Yifru Retta once again has forged himself a lead, courtesy, of course, of his aggression and those powerful punches he's landed on Mckay's jaw.
I think Retta would have been a little more sensible to have pressed his advantage.
Oh, good shot again. Well, that was a very interesting little exchange there from Retta after the bell. He actually caught Mckay on the chin for some odd reason. You get a lot of that, Sid, don't you? A bit of eyeballing from these guys, and they just can't resist it, can they? That's a bit of that spell that Retta started that right hand. They had Mckay in some bother, and a follow-up. We might see that last exchange after the bell.
But you'll always get that little shake of the head as though that didn't hurt.
Yeah, sure.
But you can bet it did. It's not so much it hurts, it stuns.
Yes.
I would say it always hurts if you get a body punch.
This is the end of the round. I'm not sure if we're going to see that. What a shame. Oh, well. Well, we're coming up for round 3 now then, and Yifru Retta obviously has got a nice psychological edge, as well, of course, as a physical lead. And Alan Mckay needs a good round here, Sid.
He certainly does, because I don't think he's done very well in the first 2 rounds. He's taken some of the hard shots. More credit to him for being able to stand up to him and move away and move around, not stand in one place and be caught with a sucker punch.
I'm sure Alan would prefer more than 6 rounds. Again, a lovely piercing jab. Oh, and the right hand from Retta. Good punches. Mckay very manfully standing up to these, Sid, isn't he?
Yes, but he isn't moving about sufficiently enough. He's just standing there waiting to take those punches. He's got to learn to keep on the move instead of standing in one place.
In Retta's 10 wins, he's stopped only 4 opponents, surprisingly. And it's worth mentioning that in Alan's 4th fight, he took on Colin McMillan, who of course went on to become WBO featherweight champion. He actually beat McMillan, the first man to do so as a professional, on a cut, and they boxed, I think, 3 times in the amateur ranks. So, and I don't think Alan had won one of those, so a bit of revenge there for him. Good shot from Retta. All right, again. These are big punches from Yifru Retta, and Mckay, he's still there.
It's pretty obvious at this point that Mckay is not a puncher, so he should be really on the move instead of sitting around in one place.
Exactly, and it's the best result, obviously, in retrospect on Mckay's record was a points win over the reigning WBO featherweight champion, Steve Robinson.
What a wonderful performance that was.
Indeed. So Alan Mckay then, maybe his future is a couple of years in the past. But on his day, very hard man to deal with. But I'm afraid Retta's power is kind of offsetting the good things that Mckay would like to be doing here.
A little bit of unnecessary head work by both men. A little bit careless.
The problem with Mckay here is he doesn't carry a big enough punch to really bother Retta. That was low in the corner from Retta. Well, once again, spirited effort by Alan Mckay, but I think the overall impression said that Retta won that round again.
Yes, I would think so. Unfortunately, he keeps being caught with these heavy punches, and obviously they'll slow him down more than anything else.
A bit of replay here then from round 3. Retta in the yellow. Just see him pierce Alan Mckay, I think, coming up. Boom. Left hand, very untidy punch, but Mckay felt it.
But it connected. And there's another one that connected even better still.
Yeah, and Alan Mckay, managed by Isola Akai, or Akai as he's known to us all, the father of the former British Cruiserweight champion, TJ.
Yes, who I remember refereeing for the title.
Absolutely, and of course later on in the programme, you're going to give us a few anecdotes about your history and giving you a few things to think about, Sid, which we'll get onto later, as I said. So Alan Mckay then, the only Rastafarian from Watford, who's wearing what I believe to be the Rastafarian, the Jamaican flag, or Rastafarian flag on the left leg there, in case that you are wondering. I'll check. I'll leave it with Sid for a moment. Just going to have a chat to his corner man, see what it's all about.
Yes. There's Yetta scoring again with a good left lead. Well, there's a bit untidy mess there, broken up by the referee quite expertly.
So, mystery solved then, Mckay says. That's a tribute to me. That's the Ghanaian flag. And, of course, Mckay from Ghana originally. So, there you are. That's cleared that one up. And I've never seen Mckay with any dreadlocks. So, there we are. The thing about these African flags, they're so similar, so many of them, aren't they, Sid?
I wouldn't be able to tell one from another.
I think if it was the Rastafarian, would have a spliff in the corner. So Retta then still got the upper hand here, regardless of the fact that Mckay was, well, he's boxing pretty smartly on occasion, but maybe this one is going to elude him. As I say, he's off a loss. In fact, he's off 2 losses in 2 British title fights in February of '93 and May of '94.
Oh, that was a terrific left hook that Retta caught Mckay with.
It was. One again. Look at that. Lovely left-right. So Mckay has been out of action for some time. And that's a great, great pity. In fact, when he should have got himself a British title shot at the peak of his football. Well, now, right hand there from Retta. Beautiful punch. And Mckay up at 2. Of course, there's no standing counts in British boxing, I'm glad to say. Cracking shot. And, of course, the right hand always going to catch a southpaw. They're vulnerable to that, as well as the left hook. Sid, any thoughts?
Yes, as I said before, I could see Mckay being caught by punches like that because he just hasn't been moving as he should be. He's been sitting around in one place, waiting for the puncher to connect.
You've got to wonder if he's as fit as he could be. As I say, he almost a year since he last boxed. And he's only had a week's notice for this contest. Good round again for Retta. He's going to get that one by a full point, Sid, I would suggest.
I would say so because of the knockdown.
So there's Alan Mckay then. Pulled himself off the floor in round 4. Here we go again. I think we're going to see that again. Sid, what's this right hand? Bingo.
Just a little below the jaw, but sufficient enough to stun him.
Absolutely. You may see it from another angle now. And you're right, Sid. I mean, he just isn't moving.
Just below the jaw. He just isn't moving sufficiently enough.
No, he's boxed a lot better.
He's remaining far too static.
Yes.
Against the man with a punch.
Yes. So Mckay there, see the old platinum watch. I say there, he's from Ghana. Can't see the dreadlocks there, can you?
He's about the only man I can say that I've got more hair on my head than him.
So into round 5 then. This is the penultimate round of a scheduled 6. And just to remind you, this in the super featherweight division. So Yifru Retta so far has won the first 4. Round 4, we think, by a full point.
I don't think by Mckay losing this bout, if he does, I don't think this necessarily will go against him, because if he hasn't boxed for a year, he certainly needs to get the ring rust out of his system. And maybe the 6th rounder will be just sufficient to bring him back.
Quite right, Sid, yeah. Alan Mckay ranked still in the top 10 by the Independent World Boxing Rankings, at number 9, in fact. And Retta at number 7. But I don't think we're seeing the real Mckay here, if I can use that term.
I would have thought that being a southpaw, Mckay would have made it very much more awkward for Retta than he has.
Yes, and Sid, he's making the classic mistake, isn't he? He's moving to his own left against a man with a big right hand. And
absolutely right.
You can't expect to stay away from damaging punches doing that.
That's true. And, of course, he isn't moving either.
Exactly, yes. I mean, we've seen him a lot livelier, haven't we?
Very much more so.
Then again, as I say, 2 fights in 2 years.
That's
long
right.
layoffs. No one wanted to box him. No one wanted to put the title on the line at the time when he needed it. And it's really blunted him somewhat.
It doesn't seem to make much difference to men like Frank Bruno.
Yeah, but heavyweights have their own rules, don't they, Sid? Don't you think?
Of course. That was more a pun than anything else.
Yeah, appreciate that. Referee Mark Green hasn't had a great deal to do in this one so far. Both men obeying the rules as they should. Good shot there again from Retta. Right hand catching Allen full in the face. Mckay once again battles back so gamely. In fact, that's what got him in trouble against Gary DeRue when he first fought for the Southern Area Featherweight crown. So, good round again then for Retta, but Mckay, well, he's making life slightly awkward for Retta, but nothing to worry about for Retta, what he thought, Sid.
Not at all. It's just that he hasn't got rid of that ring rust, and it's taken some time to get out of the system.
So we've got a bit of replay here then. I think this might be a Retta right hand again. Well, that was it, in fact, and sadly we just missed it. What a shame. Not to worry. From another angle, we might just catch it this time. So it caught Alan Mckay full in the face as he fled. Watch out, watch out. Boom, that's the one. And then the left hook to follow up, and Mckay ducking and diving.
That was because he was half turned away from his opponent. Couldn't see it coming.
Yep. So we've got one round to go then to decide this, and of course we think it's well over by now. This is always notoriously the most unpredictable of sports, and still anything can happen, but I very much doubt it, don't you?
Very unlikely from the first 5 rounds we've seen. Maybe if it was a 10-rounder, we'd have longer to decide, but seeing there's only 1 round to go, or less than 1 round to go, I can't see Mckay connecting with a punch to either stop him or count him out.
Exactly. And as you said, Mckay taking just a couple of, well, more than a couple of rounds to get shot of the rust, and he might just be getting into his stride at this point, but it's too late, isn't it?
Too late. And Retta now should be jabbing out the left hand and dancing away as he did do just a few seconds ago, but I don't think he'll want to get involved. I think he'd be quite content to stay away from his opponent other than get into a clinch and stay there.
Yes, I would agree with that. And of course, whilst he relaxes slightly, Mckay's going to come on, isn't he?
I think Mckay is probably a little bit gun-shy at this point.
These days, of course, Sid, you no longer referee, but you do judge.
I do
on
indeed.
occasion for the WBC. You're still a member of the referees committee, I understand.
Indeed, I am.
They're still very active.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. I've seen some
clash of heads there. Sorry, you've seen some.
I've seen some very good referees come along from their early days. Being an old timer, having been on the referees committee.
That's a stumble. Good shot there by Alan Mckay, the right hand, just catching on the lower jaw. We'll get to more about the history of your career just a bit later, Sid. Just this one just rolling down now.
Fine.
Good shot again from Retta, but Mckay might just have a nose in front in this last round, but
yes,
if he has, it's the only one we're going to give him.
I don't think Retta's really trying too hard.
No.
He really should be trying to stay out of trouble.
Yes. Well, Retta feeling the pace now. Mckay very gamely sticking at it.
Yes, he surely knows this is his only chance. Little left hook popped over the top there by Retta. No damage. Quite cleverly done inside.
Well, it's all over now. And of course, the decision rendered instantly by referee Mark Green, and Mckay didn't enjoy that. Well, I don't think Alan can argue with that. Alan should not argue with that decision. And Mckay there just saying, hey, calm yourself down. Clearly lost the fight. 5 rounds to 1, in fact, in our opinion, that's 59.5, 56.5 with that full point round in round 4.
Yes, I agree.
Of course, Alan's cross, he lost. And never any doubt in our minds, was there?
Not at all. He'll hear the score, and I think his objection will be immediately quietened.
Quite possibly. Here we go then for Mike Goodall's announcements.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 6 hard rounds of boxing, the referee has scored the contest. Alan Mckay, 58.5 points. Yifru Retta, 59.5 points.
Well, that's interesting.
Yifru Retta.
3 rounds to 1 and 2 even. That's an awful lot closer than we had it, Sid, but at least the right man won it.
Oh,
ladies and gentlemen, please, your appreciations for the loser of a very hard-fought contest.
Any judge in the world would
Mckay.
have given it against the winner.
Yeah. So Retta then, the winner for the 11th time in his career. We're going to take a short break, but more live boxing to come from your call. I hope you'll stay with us.